Greetings and blessings, blessings and greetings. Shalom Aleichem. This is Danzus Yogumen. We're live from the Kesser Crown Heights. It's now Chaf Aleph, the 21st of Adar. We are now 24 days and counting until Chag HaMatzot, the festival of Matzahs, the time of the rebirthing of the nation of Israel. And we humbly suggest this is a time for all of us to consider in the upcoming days and weeks and months. The time of spring is a time of renewal of awareness towards the Most High, renewal in terms of the relationships we have forged and have not yet forged with other blessed human souls. I'd like to talk about a level of awareness that we might not be aware of, but once we become aware of it, perhaps we want to go deeper into this type of awareness. I'm talking about blessed souls, Torah awareness of instructions from the Almighty Creator. One of the instructions which manifested the creation over nearly 3,000 years ago were the instructions through the heartful prayers and psalms of Na'im Zmirot Yisrael, the sweet singer of Israel, King David, who wrote in chapter 19, chapter 19, verse 2, the heavens declare the glory of the Almighty, and the firmament tells of his handiwork. Day following day utters speech, and night following night declares knowledge. There is no speech, and there are no words. Their sound is not heard, but their precision goes forth throughout the earth, and their words reach the inhabited world. In their midst he set up a tent for the sun, which is like a groom emerging from his bridal chamber. It rejoices like a powerful warrior to run the course. Its source is the end of heavens, and its circuit is to their end. Nothing is hidden from the heat. The Torah of Hashem is perfect, restoring the soul. The testimony of Hashem is trustworthy, making the simple one wise. The orders of Hashem are upright, gladdening the heart. The command of Hashem is clear, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Hashem is pure, enduring forever. The judgments of Hashem are true and altogether righteous. And I'd like to go back to chapter 19, verse 8. Read it in the Hebrew so all of us can chant it out if we want in the Hebrew style. Torat Adonai Tamima Mashivat Nafesh Edut Adonai Ne'amona Mach Kimat Peti. And again, that is translated into English, the Torah of the Almighty, the Creator. We say in Hebrew Hashem. We don't pronounce out the full pronunciation of the divine name. The Torah of Hashem is perfect, restoring the soul. The testimony of Hashem is trustworthy, making the simple one wise. So how do we become wiser, blessed souls? Well, one of the ways we can is through the Torah of Chassidut. It's another instruction from the Almighty, which manifested in a seminal stage 276 years ago with the revelation as a teacher among the Jewish people out in the wilds of Europe by the name of the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, and followed by the Maggid of Mezrich, and then the Rav of Liazhna, otherwise known as the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad. One of his descendants, Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Nachman Schneerson, gave a teaching over 48 years ago concerning the idea of us considering the inherent spirituality of a well digger, one well digger, who happened to be one of the patriarchs of Israel, none other than Isaac, Yitzhak Avinu, Isaac our father. So the Rebbe talked about this, that if we look at the totality of the concept of how Yitzhak served in this world, from a superficial perspective, that he was a well digger, which you can see in Genesis chapter 26, verse 18, Parshat Todot, and it mentions that he was a well digger. But what was he doing in actuality from an inner dimension of Torah perspective? It was the idea of elevating something from below to above. That is to say, that in his attempts to dig from above to below, to break through the rocks and the grass or whatever sediment was above the well springs of water, which were so desperately needed in that part of the world, where water is still to this day a treasured commodity in the Middle East, in the land of Israel, the land of meditation, that basically to access those well springs of water, which in Torah Chassidut is alluding to the well springs of wisdom, the well springs of perceptions of profundity, one must look within oneself. So Yitzhak was given an instruction as he was even trying to develop and embellish his source of sustenance to the digging, to the ground, breaking the ground, just as we must break ground within our previous levels of awareness, which might be covered over with stones and pebbles and hard ground of lack of awareness or nonsensical awareness. And basically, by doing that, one reaches a level of awareness which one was previously not even privy to of, and didn't even know it was accessible. Just as we saw in the Psalms of King David in chapter 19, speech goes forth every day, but there's no sound. Yet, but the preciseness of that speech, which King David is alluding to as divine speech, is actually penetrating to all ends of the earth and educating the world, whether on a conscious level or on a subconscious level, or we would say on a superconscious level. That is known that Isaac as well, in chapter 26, verses 20 to 22, dug 3 wells. They were called Eshek, Sitna, and Rechovot, which you can see again in chapter 26, verses 20 through 22. And the Rebbe explained in this Hasidic teaching, those 3 wells, which involved, again, going within oneself to draw out those well springs, correspond to 3 different levels or qualities, characteristics of love. Which is what is written in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5, Perek Vav, Posek Hey, chapter 6, verse Hey, where it says you should love the Almighty with all of your heart and all of the soul, all of your soul, and all of your strength. At the first level, perhaps at the deepest level, there will come a point where our love will be so strong that others will want a partnership with us and fellowship with us and help us carry out our missions in the world. Then there's another level where we will have to get involved in the actual work that no one else can do except for ourselves. And then there's a certain level where we will be so committed that we will use all of our sensitivities, all of our emotions, all of our intellect, and even be prepared to sacrifice our well-being to some extent for the sake of spreading true love of the Creator and true love and fellowship in the world. This is Danzosio Goodman, hopefully sending out some sort of stream of positive energy into the world. I think I have. And may Hashem forgive me if I've said something which is not of proper spirit. But of course the Most High reads the intent of every man's heart better than any man can reach into their own heart. But once we do tap into our essential heart consciousness, we'll see we'll get a beautiful message from the Most High Himself, which is seek my presence, which means we are then engaged in everlasting positive destiny. Going back to what I mentioned in a video or 2 ago, the Goro Shobanefesh, the destiny of our soul, to once again be one with the Most High. Sababa rejoice, Ahava Chad, one love, Gorel Echad, one destiny, L'kulanu for all of us, B'darchi Nom, in a peaceful way, B'darchi Shalom. In a peaceful way, B'darchi Noam, in a pleasant way, B'darchi Shalom. Okay, not as crisp and as clean as we like it to make. Usually, blessed souls, these videos. However, whatever we do in a positive way, it should be Ofen Nitzchi, in an eternal way.